Well, here we are in Brasov, the town square. It's during the Christmas season, so you'll see a lot of, right now, closed shops, but it's early in the morning, it's a rainy morning. There's a Christmas tree. Looks great at night. I got some great pictures of that. This clock tower right here was built in the 13th century. This square has seen a lot of activity here over the years, a lot of bad stuff. Trials, public executions have been here. Now, during the communist rule, they actually closed off the square to this kind of celebrations and made it a parking lot. They were trying to discourage people from getting together and talking. This is the stage where they had lots of people coming on stage to perform. It looked kind of like some kind of talent contest, maybe. And this is known as the Black Church here. It was actually built in the 15th century as a Catholic church, but during the Reformation time in the 16th century, it became a Lutheran church, which it still is today. And it's known as a Black Church because of a fire, I believe in the 1600s, that swept through and blackened the inside of the church with smoke, but the church did not burn down. It's a Gothic church. It's a pretty good example of a Gothic church here in Eastern Europe. Here's another view of the Black Church. And on this side of the Black Church, you can see a statue here dedicated to the man that brought the Lutheran beliefs to Brasov. Beautiful archway coming up here. We'll be heading toward Catherine's Gate. So this is Catherine's Gate. You might notice the 4 turrets. We can see 3 on this side, of course. They were basically a warning to anybody who was visiting the city that this city believed in capital punishment, meaning that if you did something really bad, that they could decide to put you to death. This was the way that people would enter in the city at that time. The original gate was built for defensive purposes back in the 16th century. And like a lot of German towns, or towns that were settled by Germans, by the Saxons, they attracted a lot of guilds. And this particular one was built by the tailors, and they would have storage in their facility, and they would build it, of course, for the defense of the town. But what's interesting is that Romanians were not allowed to have any property in the fortress, and they had to stay outside the fortress. And when they brought things into the fortress to sell, whatever that might be, the city would put a tax upon it. You can see the back of the Black Church from here. Beautiful place. Brasov's an amazing city. Can you imagine coming here back in the day, having to walk through these fortifications, this gate, to get to the main old town? I'm sure they didn't call it that then. There's some graffiti in here now. Just look at the ceiling. Let's see tell if you're a friend or foe coming. Still in the old town of Brasov, heading down toward Rope Street. Here's the synagogue, though. Look at this. So there's been a Jewish community here in Brasov since 1807, when its first city members were allowed to live in the city. And by the start of the Second World War, there were about 4,000 Jewish people living here, which now there's only 230 people that I guess are identified with being Jewish and still attend the synagogue. This synagogue is called Beth Israel Synagogue, and they do have a small Holocaust museum inside, and you can tour it when it's open. Now, it is considered one of the most beautiful synagogues in Eastern Europe, with its bright red exterior with the white details. It has some interesting elements as far as architecture, kind of a mix of neo-Gothic with some Moorish, with 1807 to 2007. 2007 was the 200th anniversary of the first Jewish family to settle in Brasov. This is in memory of the 135,000 Jewish martyrs from northern Transylvania. It tells the story of the life of each fallen person there. Here's the Memorial Holocaust. Has the names of people on it, the year. So we're leaving the Jewish synagogue. We're looking back down toward the, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but the Shai Gate, which was right next to Catherine's Gate. We're continuing our walk down to Rope Street, which I believe is the 3rd narrowest street in Europe, only beaten by a street in Germany and one in England. So here it is. Here, Strada Safuri, probably the most photographed street maybe in all of Brasov. Yeah, this is it. It's about 80 meters long and only 43 to 53 inches wide. According to legend, lovers who didn't have the blessing of their family used to meet here to kiss. It's believed if you kiss here on Rope Street, you will stay together forever. So now I know I need to come back here with Edith. Most of the time these rope streets have something to do with firefighters or putting out fires or trying to be able to pull hoses or ropes through in case of emergencies, things like that. I'm not sure if that has to do with this rope street or not. Sculpture of a woman wrapped in rope. Everywhere you go here, the charm of the city. Even these back roads, the back alleys, beautiful. You can think about the history of this town. So we are walking along toward Weavers' Bastion. Of course, Weavers being another guild, those seem to be very prominent in the establishments of these towns. And we're walking back toward Tampa Mountain, which you can kind of see the Brasov. It's hard to see right now. There's a Brasov sign up there, kind of like the Hollywood sign. There's a cable car you can take to go up there, or you can hike it. These cobblestones definitely remind me of San Miguel de Allende. You really need to be aware of your footing. So we're in the Bastion here.